Welcome into a Week 18 Giants Hangout brought to you by Crestron. My name is Madeline Berg, joined as always by Russ Salzberg, Matt Sytak, and the Super Bowl champion Jonathan Casillas. The last game of the season on deck for the Giants, but they're coming off a win, and not just a win in which Wan'Dale Robinson got to 1,000 yards receiving. Matt, I know we talked about this, last week, earlier in the week. He was excited about that stat going into the game, but just what does it mean for him to have that accomplishment?
Yeah, I mean, look, Wandell has been the most reliable option in the passing game all season. I mean, once Malik Neighbors was lost all the way back in week 4, Wandell was expected to really step up and become that number one target, and he's done that. He's had the best season of his young NFL career. He topped the 1,000-yard mark for the first time, which he talked about how it really meant a lot to him. He is one reception shy of tying his career high with one more game left. He's just been really, I know it's a contract year for him, and it tends to incentivize players a little bit more, but he's really stepped up and just been a reliable target for whoever it is at quarterback. He's caught passes from all three quarterbacks this season, hasn't really skipped a beat no matter who is under center. So he's really done a great job.
Absolutely. And Jackson Dart, too, especially coming into that one, getting the win. His performance really felt like we saw what we saw from Dart earlier on this season. Russ, what did you make from what we saw from Dart as well as the run game in this one?
Well, I'll tell you, Madeline, I thought what we got from Jackson was what I expected. There was talk because of that last game against the Vikings, always regressing. What's wrong? Did the Giants still have confidence? Which I thought was the most ridiculous narrative that I have ever heard. Jackson Dart is the quarterback today for the Giants. He's the quarterback tomorrow. He's the quarterback for the Giants on Sunday and for many, many years to come. He is their leader. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. He went into Las Vegas. He led his Giants to beat a team that they were better than. And what you're supposed to do in the NFL is beat teams that you're better than. JC knows that. So he did that. And to me, what the best part of the week was, after the game, if I would suggest this to any Giants fans, if you hadn't seen it yet, go see the locker room celebration after the game. The joy from everybody in that locker room, players, Kafka, Dart, everybody. I mean, it was, nobody could speak to it better than JC. It's the joy of competing. That's what professional athletes do. They compete. The Giants have been competing all season with bad results. Finally, they got the results that they wanted. So I thought Jackson and the rest of the team was great. In particular,
Yeah, it was a great win, and they got the joy out there. And Mike Kafka, as you mentioned, too, got his first win as a head coach. Lots of game balls going around in the locker room to celebrate that. Great performance by the offense, but also by the defense. Getting pressure on the quarterback, getting 3 sacks on the day, getting 2 turnovers. Because we've seen how much of a point of emphasis that has been all season, but the Giants in recent weeks under Charlie Bullen have been getting takeaways.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a stat that the Giants have struggled with the last few years. Bobby Okereke, came with a huge interception. 2 years ago, Bobby Okereke was a turnover machine, and this defense was a well-oiled machine moving around. Dexter was doing his thing, and it kind of had semblance of that. And at the end of the day, the Giants haven't looked like the Giants we thought they were going to be, or who we thought they established over these last few years, especially some of their players like Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence, the last few weeks, has been playing some good football. Statistically, he might not be showing up with those numbers, but he's impacting the game that I don't think he was doing in the first half. Duke Carter has emerged. Darius Alexander has emerged. And Brian Burns keeps up his streak. He has 2 more sacks to add. What incredible season that he's having with the up and downs of every player throughout the year. He's the guy that has been the bell cow defensively for the Giants. The defensive backs play solid. This defense looked different the other day, guys. I'm sorry, in Las Vegas. They were flying around. They were hitting guys. They were in the backfield. They were disruptive. And, of course, they created takeaways. If we would have saw this defense throughout the year, we'll be having a whole nother conversation going into Week 18 about what the Giants would be slated for in the playoffs, because a defensive performance like that, yeah, it was against the Raiders. Were the Raiders throwing the game? Who knows? But when you have a team that you're better than, like you said earlier, you got to beat that team, Russ. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If you're better than the team, you
100%.
got to go out there and beat them.
That's what it's all about. The teams that it's in front of you, if you're considered a better team, go take care of business. And the
That's it.
Giants did that emphatically this past Sunday. I was very pleased with the performance.
Well, and it's like you look at the records, right? The Giants have beat two teams with an above 500 record. The New England Patriots, who are on their way to the playoffs, have only beat one team with an above 500 record. So it's not about, oh, well, this team's good, this team's not good. It doesn't really count because they weren't trying, whatever. A win's a win. And I think
Win's a win.
you go in and day out to prepare for the game on Sundays. You want to get a win, and the Giants did just that in week 17, and now they got another opportunity to do so against a division opponent in the Cowboys to finish off the season. Now, both of these teams are out of the playoffs, but both of these teams are still preparing to play a game in the NFC East. Russ, when you look at how this defense is going to have to slow down the Cowboys receivers, first of all, what's the key here?
Well, I think to continue with the pressure, we actually just started the Hangout, and we haven't mentioned Brian Burns yet. What can we? You can't say enough about Brian Burns.
Well, Casillas did, but not all of us are listening to everything he said, so that's
Clearly,
okay.
Russ.
No, but you know what I mean. And what's it? Abdul Carter. I can't say enough the way he's responded. And Carter, to his credit, has responded in a big time way. Carter's playing like his hair's on fire, and that's what we need to see.
That's what you want to see. That's what you want to see from a young player coming out here trying to make a name for himself. And we've seen him tweeting out about how badly he wants that Rookie of the Year award and wants that recognition for his play. And he's been showing up in a different way and is preparing in a different way in recent weeks. But Matt, when you look at the offensive side of the ball for this Giants team going against the Cowboys, what we've seen from Jackson Dart and the way that he has run this offense so efficiently, what is the key for him and the offensive side of the ball against this Cowboys defense?
Before I get into Jackson Dart, I just real quick on Abdul Carter, because you mentioned his tweets about asking for, wanting defensive Rookie of the Year. If he had played all season like he has the last month, he would have ran away with the
no
You're right. Yeah.
No question, man.
100%. Yep.
He has been unbelievable since that benching the first quarter against the Patriots. He's had at least a half sack in the last 4 games, but not to mention he's just getting after the quarterback, play in and play out. Next Gen Stats put this out after the game on Sunday. Quick pressures under 2.5 seconds getting to the quarterback. Abdul Carter leads the NFL. All players, he is number 1 in the NFL in that stat. He has been wreaking havoc this last month. So I just want to give him his props. I don't know if I'd quite say he deserves Defensive Rookie of the Year, because there was a 2-month stretch where he, didn't really do a whole lot to contribute to the defense. But the way he's played the last month, he sure looks like a Defensive Rookie of the Year. Now, on to Jackson. You mentioned earlier, I apologize, I forgot who mentioned it, but 2 weeks ago, that Vikings matchup was his worst game of his young career. No doubt about it. He admitted to it. But a lot of it goes towards Brian Flores and his defensive scheme. He is one of the best defensive play callers in the NFL. You just have to tip.
Also, what was asked of Jackson in that game too? They were running the ball so much. They weren't asking him to throw it. They weren't asking him to do a lot.
He didn't even attempt his first pass until a couple minutes into the second quarter. He didn't complete his first pass till right before halftime. So there clearly was a game plan for that game to attack on the ground. This last week, we saw they let Jackson, play his game a little bit more, and he looked like the normal Jackson that we've grown accustomed to seeing. This week against the Cowboys defense, their defense, I'm going to say, is a lot more towards the Raiders end of the spectrum than the Vikings end of the spectrum. This should be another good opportunity for Jackson to take advantage of a, let's just say, below average defense, and a great opportunity for him to close the season strong.
I like it. And you want to close it strong with a win. Shutting down the Cowboys receivers and pressuring the quarterback. Do you think Casillas, the Giants, can get pressure on Dak Prescott?
I think so. And look, Dak is playing extremely well. I don't even know. I heard some whispers that he might not play this week. I don't know. But if he plays, Dak Prescott is one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the league. This team averages over 400 yards a game on offense. Last week against the Commanders, they ran 87 plays. 500 yards of total offense, 200 yards on the ground. This offense, don't even look at the defense. The defense is horrible. This offense is a top tier offense in the NFL with two of the top tier wide receivers. The defense have to come to play. They have to create pressure against this team. And I think for you to get pressure, you have to do well on first and second down. And that's where the Giants have struggled. They struggled on first and second down against the run. This Cowboys team, yeah, they like to throw the ball to their pretty wide receivers, but they're a running team. They like to be physical. They like to establish the run. And if the Giants could do a good job on first and second down, and then get them into third and manageable for the defense, they can get them off the field, get the pressure, get Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, Darius Alexander on Dak's back. Because if not, this team can easily score 30 points. And like you said, Matt, defensively, they can easily give up 30 points. So the Giants had to figure out a way to slow them down offensively and do what everybody has done to Dallas this year on offense and score some points.
And just real quick, Brian Schottenheimer on Monday did say that Dak is playing this week.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So Dak is in. I mean, I get the idea of, wanting to keep your players healthy, but it's the last game of the season. Let them play, You never know. All right. Giants Cowboys, a lot of history there, as we are well aware. Big division rivalry happening here. But Russ, what do you know? What do you say? What do we got for trivia this week?
What do you know? What do you say? Well, Madeline, as you know, we've been down this road many times with the Giants and the Cowboys. It's quite the rivalry. Well, the season, folks, was 2009. Their last game actually in Giant Stadium, their last season in Giant Stadium, week 13. Giants took care of the Cowboys by the score of 31-24. Giants in that game scored 4 touchdowns, 2 by one player. All right. Who scored those touchdowns? And by the way, I'll give you a little hint. One was by a special teamer.
Dominique Hickson.
You know what? Sometimes you really do impress me, JC. Right out of the gate, Dominic Hickson, who was a favorite of mine when he was there. Really good dude. Dominic Hickson. All right. Yep.
2009. Brandon Jacobs.
Okay, hold on a second. Dominic, by the way, it was a 79-yard punt return. Matt, you said Brandon Jacobs.
Jacobs.
All right, so go ahead, tell me more.
Steve Smith?
No, Brandon Jacobs.
Was that Victor Cruz? Was he?
Cruz was on IR that year.
Yeah.
Brandon Jacobs, yes.
Brandon Jacobs.
Brandon Jacobs, yes, but how did he do it?
I'm assuming rushing.
Running the ball.
And receiving.
And receiving.
Right.
Oh, you too.
So
he had a 1-yard run and a 74-yard reception. How about that?
So Brandon Jacobs with a 74-yard reception. That is scary. That is so scary.
Wow.
To envision that big man running 74 yards down.
That's like that Bijan Robinson on Monday Night Football this week. It was like, what?
I'm assuming that was a catch and run, JC.
Listen, that big man running 74 yards just gave me chills. That's a huge human being.
I used to love when he would catch a ball like coming out of the flat, like kind of with a head start, and it was like a runaway train out of control.
Hey, Russ, he ain't running out of bounds.
No. Running out of bounds. That's the Cam Scatterboom mentality. Let me run through you. I'm not dodging nobody. If you're standing there, duck.
Yeah.
All right, well, I got a bonus for you here. In that game, there was a forced fumble by the Giants, also recovered by the Giants. Real simple. Who forced it and who recovered it?
OC. Forced it.
Yeah, I'm going OC. I'm in your.
OC recovered it.
OC recovered it. Okay.
JPP forced it.
Nope.
No, JPP wasn't in the league yet. No.
I think he got drafted the next year.
Yeah, the next year. Yep.
Justin Tuck.
Nope.
Kiwanuka.
Matthias Kiwanuka.
Kiwi.
Yep, very good.
Kiwi, good one, Matt. Good one, Sidetrack.
Matthias Kiwanuka. Yep, very interesting. Very interesting. Well, good job, guys. That was I was impressed. I mean, Hickson right out of the gate, JC.
Right out the gate.
Sir.
Yeah. Casillas knows ball. All right. Well, listen, we've got New Year's Eve this week. You know, we've got the Giants Cowboys, the last game of the 2025 season, but it's the first game of the 2026 calendar year. So as we turn the page to a new year, a lot of us may be giving up things or, having New Year's resolutions. But if we were to give the Giants a New Year's resolution for next year, Matt, what is your New Year's resolution for these New York Football Giants?
Oh, for me, it's pretty easy. Something jumped into my mind right away, and that is in 2026, the New York Giants, please stop the run. When you're on defense, don't let the opposing team run for 150 plus yards every game because it's just backbreaking. We have this tremendous defensive line that does not get to just pin their ears back and get after the quarterback because the other team is just running the ball constantly. So for 2026, the New Year's resolution for the Giants is to stop the run.
All right, Russ, what about you? What's your New Year's resolution?
Madeline, you got to know. You can guess what I'm going to say. Give me 60 minutes of football each and every week, because if they would have done that this season, their record would be quite a bit differently. I was just doing something before we got on. Okay, they beat the Chargers 11-5. They beat the Eagles. That team is also 11-5. They lost to the Broncos. They're 13-3. They had them going into the fourth quarter. They had the Lions. They had the Bears. They had the Packers. I mean, it's 60 minutes of football. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but that's what they need to do. There's no letting up. Just play 60 minutes of hard-nosed football. I think if they did that, they would do also, that would help do, as what Matt said, stop the run.
There you go. Casillas, what's your New Year's resolution?
So I got almost like a mantra, almost that I want to, spit at the Giants. It goes something like this: play together, play encouraged, play fearless, play violent. You play encouraged because you know what you're doing. You play fearless because hesitation gets you beat. You play together because this is family. You play violent because this is football.
I like it. I like it. Honestly, that feels like something out of Friday Night Lights right there. And I'm here for it. I can see the team getting together and rallying around it.
We didn't know JC was a poet, for crying out loud.
That's it.
That.
Listen, look, bring out the drums.
I was coming up with some sayings of football, and then I kept on going to play violent, and I'm like, maybe I'll list that last. But the last part of that for me is the most important.
Yeah.
Being physical. Matt, you talk about the rushing yards that the Giants give up. When I think about being physical, I think about being violent. I think about stopping the run on defense, right? And then again, running the ball on offense. If the Giants can have that mentality on some real stuff, it doesn't matter the scores next year. The games will look and feel differently. They may not score as much, but they won't give up as much. If you play with the violent mindset on every play, I'm telling you, it will work out for you, because this game is the people that have success are the violent, smart people. Those are the people that have success in this league. People that play physical football and that are smart. And the Giants have been at this year, they haven't been as physical as they're supposed to be, and they haven't been as smart as they needed to be, especially situationally.
Yeah. Now, listen, at midnight on New Year's Eve, oftentimes, you raise a glass, you have a toast, and you find somebody you love or whatever. But when you're toasting to the new year, my toast for this Giants team is to your health, because we want to see a healthy Giants team in 2026. Injuries were a huge part of the storyline of this team, not just Cam Scatterbo, not just Malik Neighbors. Micah McFadden was a huge blow to the Giants defense early on in the season when he went down. And when these key players are going to be returning to the team next year healthy in the beginning of the season, I want to keep it that way. I would like to see a healthy Giants roster through 2026. And so that is what I will be raising a glass to and giving a New Year's toast for this Giants team. But before 2026, we got to turn the page to week 18. We got this Giants Cowboys game, and we got to wrap up our show with a little over under to send our Hangout listeners with a farewell. So we'll start with some takeaways, right? How generous are the Cowboys going to be in this one? Over under 1/2 a takeaway. SciTech, what do you think?
I'm going to go over. I think the Giants can get one takeaway. I know the takeaways have been sort of lacking throughout the season, but I think the momentum from last week will carry over. the Cowboys offensive line, Dak got sacked, I believe it was 6 times last week by the
Mhm.
Commanders,
Yep.
and the Giants defensive front, I think, is a little bit better than the Commanders with the way Brian Burns is playing, Abdul Carter, not to mention Dexter Lawrence is still looking for his first full sack of the season. I think this takeaway will come in a strip sack of Dak Prescott.
Okay. Salzburg, over under half a takeaway.
It's one takeaway. You know what? I'm optimistic. I'm going to go with the over. I think they'll get a takeaway, whether it's a pick, fumble, whatever. I think they'll get a takeaway.
Chasey?
Yeah, Dallas, Dak doesn't really give up the ball that much, but he does get sacked a lot, especially the last 4 or 5 games. I think he was sacked like 14 or 15 times the last 5 games. But I do think the Giants create a takeaway because the Giants have been trending that way. Their defense have been playing a lot better and look like guys are playing with their hair on fire and they're flying around and creating plays. And guys are running from the line of scrimmage to wherever that ball is caught or ran. And I like that. I like what I've been seeing with that. And you will create takeaways that way.
In bunches, right? We see that
Mhm.
all the time. And I would imagine that with this heater that the Giants defense has been on, that they'd be able to get one out of the Cowboys this week. Now you talk about the pressure getting on the quarterback. Yes, Dak Prescott gets sacked quite a bit, but can Abdul Carter and Brian Burns combine for over or under 2.5 sacks? Because what do you think?
Just them two together with 2.5. It's going to be hard for me to let Dallas not. It's going to be hard for me to embrace that Dallas is just going to let those two guys just totally destroy them without having any type of plan for them. So I'm going to go under. I believe that they're very much capable. I just don't think Dallas is going to have a team in their division, knowing the two players that can get to the quarterback, allow them to do it. So I think they're going to have a plan for Burns, which I don't think a lot of teams, especially the Raiders, have plans for Burns. But I think they will have a plan for Burns to slow him down a little bit.
I mean, they may have a plan for him, but I mean, the way Burns is playing, who knows if it'll
No,
work? What do you
this is
think?
true. This is true.
Matt, what do you think?
I'm gonna have to go with under as well. I mean, as great as Burns has been playing all season and Abdul over the last month, that would mean they have to combine for 3 sacks between the two players. That's just a lot. I think they could potentially each get 1 sack and hit 2, but to get over 2.5, I think that's just a bit steep. So I'm gonna go under.
Russ?
Uh, Madeline, correct me. Is it just between Carter and Burns or the entire team?
Just between Carter and Burns, yeah.
Just between Carter and Burns. If it's just between the two of them, you know what? Wishful thinking. I'm going to say they take care of business and keep running around. I'm going to say over. I'm going to say wishful thinking. They're going to go over.
I'm with you, Russ. I mean, I get it. It's a lot to think about. Oh, they're going to have a lot. They're going to be preparing for these guys, this and that. But again, Dak is a quarterback that gets sacked a lot. Brian Burns has 16.5 sacks on the season. I wouldn't be surprised if he got 3 in a game on his own.
Yeah, that's true.
I kind of feel that way also. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
So, and especially closing out the season, he's like, how much can I close this gap on Myles Garrett? I got one more shot. Let's go. I could see him doing it. I could see him and Abdul combining for it. I'm going to take the over on this one. Let's talk a little offense though. Touchdowns, total touchdowns by Jackson Dart, passing and rushing. Over or under 2. Matt, what do you think?
So at first, I was gonna go with a push. I think I was gonna go with 2 total because he's only had more than 2 in 2 games throughout the whole season. But then I did a little deeper dive into the Cowboys defense and I looked at how much points they've given up lately. This is just going back the last 5 games. 23 points, 34 points, 34 points, 44 points, 28.
Yeah.
So because of that, I think Jackson is more than capable of getting to at least 3 touchdowns against this defense. So I'm going to go over.
I can see it because you're giggling. What do you think?
But Matt, you could keep going back. It's going to sound the same with Dallas's defense. They're giving up 30 points a game, bro. Yeah, I think, look, last week we saw Jackson Dart's full skill set in front of us. That's what we saw. We saw his full skill set. They got into empty. He threw the ball efficiently. He got the ball out of his hands. He found his favorite target in Wan'Dale Robinson. When it got to certain situations where he had to tuck the ball, he did it. He did it decisively. He started to slide. Of course, he fought for that touchdown in the end zone where he did take a shot. And that's somewhere where I think that he's having discernment, or now it's like, all right, now that's a situation where I know I'm going to fight for that and I'm going to go get it. He is a guy, when he has his skill set, when he's available to him, because I don't think it was in the Vikings game, the last week is the type of game we see. And I think he's progressing and he's getting smarter. He's having discernment. He's not taking unnecessary hits. And that's what you wanted to see in the post-game interview. I heard from him, Paul Dottino asked him, Paul gave him a little layup. He was like, hey, you're protecting yourself. And his answer to that question was finally what I wanted to hear. He said that he's learning. And I was like, that's all we wanted to hear from you, Dart.
Yeah.
And not that we haven't seen it, but I wanted to hear him say it. Now that he said it, for me, it gives me the utmost confidence that this kid is going to be special. 2 touchdowns a game for him is at least what I'm requiring for him, because I think he's that good. He presents because people don't give him credit for his passing ability. I think he's a phenomenal passer of the football.
Yes, he is.
And he will get better. The run part, he just has to have discernment and whatnot to get hit. That he got figured out. He already had to tuck in it when he's supposed to tuck it, scramble it when he's supposed to scramble it. They are designing runs for him, and he has a lot of success. And I'm sorry to go on this rant here. I just had to give Jackson Dart his flowers, because this kid is phenomenal, and he will have at least 2 touchdowns against Dallas.
Yeah. Russ, what do you think?
I agree. I agree. He's going to have at least the 2 touchdowns. And I'm really glad that JC brought it up in terms of his passing. I mean, I think he's an excellent passer. As a rookie, to me, he looks very strong. He spins a good ball. And let's be honest, Jackson was the victim of a lot of drop passes by his teams this year. A lot of drop passes. So those passing stats would have been up as well. Like touchdown stats. So, no, I think he goes over.
Yeah, I think he goes over as well, for the point that you made too. That defense is one that is a great opportunity for him to have some scoring. And also, this is the first time we're going to see Jackson Dart against the Cowboys. When the Giants played the Cowboys earlier this season, it was Russell Wilson at quarterback. Right. And we remember what a barn burner of a game that one was. A lot of scoring back and forth. This is going to be a big moment for Jackson Dart playing the Cowboys for the first time as a Giant. I think he's going to go out there and put on a show for the final game of the season. But we shall see. Week 18 on deck, 1 p.m. at MetLife Stadium, Giants Cowboys. This is the last hangout of the season, but we've got a season recap coming next week too. So we'll be back, running it back and recapping all that was in the 2025 Giants season. But until then, we'll be covering the game on Sunday, and tune into Giants.com and Giants Social for all the latest Big Blue news. For Matt Sytak, Russ Salzberg, and Jonathan Casillas, I'm Madeline Burke. That's a wrap on the Week 18 Giants Hangout, brought to you by Crestron.